What's up, dedicated Dragon Ball denizens? I'm Ryan, and we're here for another episode of the Hawks Dragon Ball Nest. And this time we're going to get into one of my favorite decks, and it is good. I've been working with it and improving this list for a few days, and I think it's good. I'm on a 4-game win streak right now. Just beat 2 Burnhans in a row. So here's my profile for it. I did release one video with an initial list, pretty much like the day of release or something of FB08. So I messed with it a little bit. Very, very slight changes, but changes that are significant. So let's check out the profile. And here we are, deck list on the top left-hand side of the screen, and of course in the description as usual. So check it out, a very simplified version of the deck. I concentrated on a few things. Obviously adding in the Bardock, the newest one, which has been in there, but also really not relying on it. I think that was the biggest problem with my initial list, was that it just relied on that Bardock and kind of fell apart without it. So I kind of added backfield and just added some consistency to it, to where I've just got 6 costs so that I can be really hitting on multiple 6s a turn, you know, relying on the fact right now that like there's not a lot of removal for these 6s in the game at this time. People are really just kind of trying to shotgun you, and the game is moving so fast, but this deck has enough 10Ks to where we can survive some hits. You know, that's why I've survived 2 Burnhans where they just don't have enough power, even with those boosts, to get me down. So that's where I was. So anyway, here's our Shallot. I think most people know what he can do by now. 15k on front side. He does not draw, but he can use his leader skill that usually would only be on the awakened side, on the front side as well. Right, activate main, we're gonna do for 4 energy, switch to rest mode, play up to 1 battle card with 10k combo, and Saiyan in its special traits from your hand. So yeah, not bad at all. And then awakens on 4. Right, then he's awakened 20k. Now he can start drawing cards, and he still has that same move. Right, so what do we got here? All right, so of course we've got the 4 of Chi-Chi. I mean, just great for self-awakening. Great turn 1 play, and then obviously being able to use it for combo as well. Just a good card. Then of course we have Nappa. Nappa is a great self-awakener as well. Able to scry that deck. You look at top 3 and then place top 3 on top. So really that's all I've got in terms of 1 cost. Like, I removed the Bulma completely, I removed the cantrip completely, and we just out here. We just going with that. And so really, like, if you don't get one of those 2 cards in hand to start the game, probably want to mulligan, right? Now then I went with this Vegito. I think in my other list I may have brought him down to 2 or 3, and I decided, you know, what am I thinking? We need this guy, we need him to be at 3. I mean at 4 up. So I put him back to 4 because I think it's really key. Like, if you go second, you have your marker, you're okay. You don't necessarily need to play him, but now I've started to realize, like, I really want to play him turn 2 to get me that marker so that I can really get my setup for a turn 3 playing Bardock, right? And I'm talking about this guy, Bardock Goku. You know, that's what I want my turn 3 to be, if possible. Not always. Sometimes I may want to go with the Goku, but I think I really like going with this guy straight into, obviously, this Bardock. I mean, another option from there really is, like, sometimes I have found that it works to play out my Goku first, turn 4, and then turn 5 I can choose between maybe this guy or the draw one. You know, it kind of really depends. You know, you don't need the setup yet. It's just like, how do I feel in terms of game flow? Our best turn 4 may still be to throw him out, but I don't know. Anyway, I do have 3 of these guys in there. I don't play him a ton, but I think it's a good turn 3 play if we don't get that marker. If we do go first, and, you know, maybe we don't have that marker yet, he's a good turn 3 play that does set us up and give us the ability to play out our Bardock the next turn, right? We do love this guy, right? So if you have a card with 3 or more in Goku's lineage, or Bardock's crew and his special traits, reduced by 2, and then we're drawing 2 cards, giving our leader 5k and placing 1 on top, which just works so great. I mean, you're basically guaranteed with, like, this guy and Bardock alone are just such a ridiculous combo because you're basically guaranteed that he's gonna be able to restand every turn. It's just insane. You know, then you've got him, obviously. He's a nice, like, early game pressure. But, you know, being a 3 cost, he's pretty easy to remove nowadays. Like, I don't prioritize him. I wouldn't be mad, honestly, if people just removed him completely and threw in something. Like, he's not really breaking the game. Like, if it takes you another turn to get this guy out, cool. Honestly, hard playing him on turn 5 isn't even the worst thing. The problem is, with these faster decks now, that's a little bit too slow. You do probably want to get him out on turn 4, which really, like, if we're gonna go Vegito into Bardock into this guy, like, that's a pretty good freaking board, and you can play the Vegito and let him sit, right? So I mean, that's some pretty good pressure, pretty good board. I'm sticking with the 2 of Gogeta. You know, solid. I don't play him that much. You know, I mean, it does take me till 6 energy. There's usually a lot better plays. And honestly, too, like, I'm drawing so much with these other guys, whether it's with him or my Goku, that, like, I don't even really care that much about removal. Like, I'm fine. Like, I'm drawing into so many freaking 10k combos. Like, it's insane. I mean, this deck has 1, 2, let's see, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 times 4, 28 10Ks, and then it has obviously our 4 super combos. So, I mean, that's ridiculous combo power right there. Our only, like, dead in hand cards are going to be the field once we play it, which is going to be 3. This one, I'm often, like, once you hit, like, turn 4 and plus, like, if you have it in hand and you want to save an energy for it, pretty easy, whether or not it's a marker. We've got the triple strike in there. And this is another card, like, I'm not sold on. I'm not sure, at least in this deck, I don't know if I've ever played him. I mean, it's kind of a cute card in there. It's kind of a nice card as a threat. Will it come in handy? But, like, another one, like, I would be bad if you just want to remove it. And in fact, I did miscount by 1. I only have 3 of these guys. So now you're telling me, what the heck is this, Ryan? Why do you got him in here? I just really want to give myself as best of a chance as possible as hitting on those top decks. Because you are still going to have to go blind. You're not going to find the Bardock. You're not going to find the field. You're not going to hit on the field. I don't want to go blind. If I have to go blind, I want to be able to hit. So half of this deck is 6 cost. I've got 4... 1, 2, 3, 4, 8, 12, 14, 16, 20. I've got like 23 6 costs in this deck or something like that. 4, 8, 12, 16, 20, 23. I've got 25 actually. Half of this deck is there, okay? Don't really need to say something else. This Gohan actually does come in clutch. What I usually try to do is, you know, maybe he's going to be my turn 5 play if I'm playing against black. And again, you know, think about this. We've got our Bardock out turn 4 usually, so that way you're able to attack with him first. As long as you defend your Bardock on board, you play out the Gohan, you destroy your opponent's Bardock, and look, so what? They can play another one next turn. But you've probably got this guy, and this guy on board now, like freaking 435k hits. Come on, that's crazy. So then we've got 4 of these Vegetas. Honestly, like this Vegeta and this guy, they're just combo power in hand. Like, you should never have to play them. But you know, he's a 40k if you do. I don't remember the last time I've played either of these two. Like, I just don't like KOing him. I mean, if my opponent's like super swarming, cool, but you know, this is just guaranteeing we hit on our 6, and it's combo power in hand as a 10k. Cool. I recommend, just for the lulz, to throw in some type of Saiyan super combo. Doesn't have to be this one, but it's obviously the prettiest looking card right now, unless maybe you get like one of the Bardocks. I do like the 2 of Ultimate Sparking. A lot of times if I'm playing like the Goku, maybe this is where I do consider, like against Burnhan, do I maybe want to swap out and play out the Goku first? But my last 2 matches I didn't, and I won. So Ultimate Sparking, you know, it's just a nice defensive card that if you pop that marker, you can prevent some of your opponent's attacks. And yeah, the field, that was what I found when I took this deck to locals and lost out. I found I was relying just too much on the Bardock, and the field is there. You know, nobody's running anything to kill it. It's only 1 cost to play, and it's multiple, like you can hit multiple times. So like once you start getting a board out there and it guarantees a double hit, like think about guaranteeing that if you've got 2 UIs on board now, because this game's going long, that you're going to set 1 UI up for a draw with your Bardock on board and a second UI for a draw too with Lonesome Final Battle. Like the value that this card gets is crazy, and I'm telling you, I've just been killing it with this deck. Okay, strategy, strengths, and weaknesses. Play the game is the strategy. What the heck do I mean by that? I mean, like, play the game, like see what's your opponent doing. Do I want to attack with leader or not? For most of the time, you're not going to want to attack. And Shallot is so key into Burnhan 2 at usually being able to stall them out. If they don't, like, they have to play a perfect curve in order to awaken on the turn that they want to. And also, they're going to be hitting you because they want to awaken. So play the game. Like, what are we doing here? Do we need to awaken fast? Do we need to awaken slower? Because also, be careful with using your self-awakeners, right? Like, if you're playing Burnhan, then he may awaken you too fast. If you're playing, you know, going turn 1 and 2, 3 self-awakeners, that might be too fast. And then play the game. What I mean by that too is play the gamble, hit the casinos, and play to where you are top decking your 6s so that all of your abilities are going. You know, we're cycling through our deck and all that good stuff. But yes, we do want to prioritize getting Shallot, I mean the Bardock, out. That 5-cost Bardock, you want him on the field and you want to defend him, and he's not that hard to defend with how many 10Ks this deck has. It's a little bit insane, and so easy to defend. And, you know, getting your leader that 5K extra just makes you beefier and more pressure in a deck that already has underrated pressure, you know, comparatively. And then play the game. Like, what do we need? Which card do we need to play? Like, once I've got this Bardock out, now it's adaptation. Do I want to start easy board removal? Do I want to just continue to get ridiculous draws? Or do I just want to have some of the craziest pressure for the craziest value you can get? If I've got one Bardock out of Goku Bardock, then I play Shallot, and then I go into this guy again, like, that's 5 35k hits in one turn, plus your 25k leader, plus you're killing 2 costs, so you're destroying their board. Like, it's wild. It's really wild. I mean, this deck is just not getting the recognition it deserves, and maybe it's gonna be my job to get there. Maybe it's gonna be my job. Okay, so what else do we have? You know, stack the deck, right? The strengths is it's hard hitting, especially now that like you're not always even, you don't even, like, the deck used to revolve around this guy, which was a draw 2, draw 1 or 2, right? And you're hitting for 30k, right? But now this guy is in essence a better version of that. You are only drawing 1, but let's be real, like, you're only guaranteed to draw 1 with Goku, and the turn you play him, you're only drawing 1 too. So in essence, like, this is a better version of the UIQ, because you're able to stack your deck, and like, he makes your UIQs better and your leader. Like, yeah, I mean, it's hard hitting. It's 5k more combo, which is significant. Like, it's now like, that's a super, you know, that's a super your opponent has to use, whereas maybe it was a 10 and a 5, or it's 2 10Ks. It's just going to really, like, whittle your opponent down, and provide such great pressure, and the draw power is ridiculous. Like, I want y'all to see that on Saturday, I decided, I played a few matches and I wanted to do it in advance again. We're going to go up against the Nameku 2 and just see, like, what we're doing out here, right? And they're also tough to remove. I mean, we're getting 6s out every turn and 5s. The Bardock, that's okay. You know, if they remove him, he did his value for a turn. You can decide to play a second one or not. You probably do want to, but this deck doesn't have easy removal. Some decks just don't have anything, you know, beyond the removing the Bardock, right? And weaknesses. The early draw and stall all obviously are a weakness. You know, if they want to stall you out and you don't see those self-awakeners, which this build, that is one of the weaknesses. I only have 8, only 8 self-awakeners, right? Because I removed the trunks. So they can stall you out, but in this meta right now, like, most decks are pressuring. They want to pressure. You're going against Goku Juniors, against Burn Hans, who are like pressuring you. They need to attack in order to make their decks work with board, and they're pressuring you. So you don't really have to worry about awakening that much right now. If you're not careful though, then you're going to over defend your board though. You know, so you are going to have to make what I call some business decisions. If you do get this guy out there early, and your opponent has you stalled at 6, 7, or 5 life, and you don't want to risk finding that awakener, you may have to just sacrifice this Bardock and live to see another day in terms of getting awakened so that you can start drawing. You know, think about value, right? The weaknesses is you are still going to whiff some top decks. You know, I think the way that I've built this deck now is just, you know, so many 6 cost to top deck and so many ways of doing it with both field and Bardock that it is a lot tougher to do so. And then obviously we have our Vegito as the backup, but it's gonna happen sometimes. The other weakness I see is going to be some of those swarm decks. If you can get the Bardock out, not as crazy, but if they're getting you down too early without that draw, like if they time it well enough and you don't find those awakeners, it can be tough because your hand size is just not going to be very large if they're swarming you quick. But remember, the swarm decks are usually lower power decks, and they're usually going to have like lower cards. So if you can get this bad boy out there, you're going to clear that board. You're going to KO 2 costs, and now we're hitting 235Ks into them. It's not bad. Also consider, I'll mention too, if you don't want to risk it the turn you get this guy out, or sometimes you don't need to, feel free not to sacrifice that card in hand. Feel free to just leave him rested. Guess what? They want to attack into a 35K body. Go right ahead. It's better than you hitting my leader. So you don't always need to restand him if you don't need to attack with it early. So if you're getting him out turn 4, or especially turn 3, your opponent might be at 5 life. Do you want to awaken them? No. So you don't always have to risk him trying to restand him if you've got like a good hand. Like obviously if you've got a card you don't need, you know, sometimes I'll do it when I've got the other 3 cost Bardock in, like, cool, I don't need him anymore. The chances are I'm gonna either get a 6 cost, and if I whiff on a 6, it may be a freaking 10k combo from my Chi-Chi or Nappa. Alright, some other cards to consider in the deck. You know, this is one I kind of want to fit in, but I mean, there's so much 1 cost hate out there right now that I just can't bring myself to swap anything out for it, and I like all my 6s that I have in there. If anything, maybe like triple strike in the Bardocks or something, then you've got even more 10Ks. I mean, now we'll increase to what, like 30 freaking 10Ks in the deck minus the super combo. So it is an option. It's a solid card. 10K, 5K, obviously attack, and a 1 cost activate main. You're gonna, for 1 energy, place 1 card from your hand on your deck. If you don't have a marker, you get a marker. So basically guarantees you get a marker. I mean, you're using it for free because you're getting that, and then you can place something on top of your deck. It's just that I don't feel he really fits too much here. I don't feel like I get a lot of value, and he's probably not sticking around right now either. Right. The other one is the one I recently removed. You know, I've been like, this guy, like, it goes in and out of my deck so much, my Shallot build. And I think at this point he's not needed. Like, I thought, you know, maybe I'll have him to protect, but like, what am I protecting? It's so rare that they're going to KO him, and it's a lot easier to just KO this guy first anyway. Like, it's rare that they're going to have anything that's going to KO a 6 cost. Or bottom deck or anything. You know, blue does have some of it. I just don't think he's needed. Self-Awakener, cool. But I just rarely get much value out of this guy anymore. Then we've got Pan. Pan's the other 2 cost Self-Awakener I've always considered. I do like the when attacking for 1 draw a card and returning a 4 or less to your opponent's hand, but Again, I played like many matches with her during FB07 and FB02 era in the deck, you know, for Q-runs and things like that, and just another one I just wasn't really getting a lot of value out of. Then we've got Jocko. Now, I did consider Jocko as a blocker and a cantrip, right? But then I thought about it a little bit more, and he's only a 5k blocker. So I don't think he's going to do much for you. The idea I thought initially was against Bernhan. But then I'm like, well, number one, who cares? I'm not extremely scared of him. And then number two is, yeah, he's a 5k. So if they hit that curve and, you know, they play the double strike out with Goten, you know, you're cooked anyway. And then we've got the Gohan double strike. Now, this is one I do like. I do like this card. And I almost want to swap the triple strike for this guy. To be honest, I'm getting my opponent down to 2. Well, I'll say this, but when I get my opponent down to 3, like, it's rare that they even, like, it's rare I can go for game at that point. You know, a lot of people kind of let themselves get down to 3 rather freely. And by the time I get to 7 charge, like, what am I doing here? They're usually at 1 by then or 2, right? It's kind of what I'm trying to say. So I don't get a lot of value out of him. I may try him out. I may swap him in as a 1 or a 2 of, because he just feels better. And then on play, you know, we're going to put a 3 or less into their drop and place an energy mark. And what I like about that is, you know, hey, we could play a Chi-Chi out or something if we want from there and really go for game. I feel like, you know, the more I talk about it and think about it, why do I want to try this guy out instead? He just makes a little bit more sense in this build, I feel like. Alright, well, that's going to do it for this episode of the Hawks Dragon Ball Nest. Hope you enjoyed this episode of Shallot. I don't know, man. The more I think about it, the more I feel this deck has more legs than it's given credit for. I'm on like a 5-game win streak with the deck right now. Well, one of them doesn't count. It's against the person is a person who just resigns immediately. So maybe I shouldn't count this win streak. But anyway, I'm winning games. Okay. I took it to locals with my other list and failed, and it kind of got me off the deck. But you know, with this revised list, I feel pretty good about his potential. You know, it's got some potential. So anyway, if you liked what you saw, hit that subscribe button. Become part of the Hawks Nest. We're a fearless flock out here of fabulous folks who love to do what we love making these decks, and we're still on a quest to 500 subs. Hit me up in DMs on Twitter, Rybred619, RYBRED619. Let me know if you want some SB02 or FB08 code cards. I'll hook you up with 15 of them. Show me that one of your friends subscribe. I'll hook you up with 15 of them too. I'll hook you both up with 15. I don't care. Let me know which ones I've got. I have a lot of FB09. I don't have as many SB02, so while supplies last of SB02. So anyway, until then, we'll see you next time.